Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Laura and I like to make stuff. This project that I have in front of me is a half-started log cabin. I originally started these with hand stitching the scraps that I was trying to organize together because it was just something fun to do. I really enjoy hand stitching, and so at the time I was just wanting to play around with fabrics, and I got this idea of like a flower garden. And so I was messing around with my pinks and greens and started making not very precise log cabins. There are many that are not the same, like this one and this one were done differently. I don't know where I went wrong, maybe went in the wrong direction. It doesn't matter. I think that it'll still look good with the idea and theme of a flower garden. It'll still look good in the end, even if each one is slightly different, because that's what flower gardens look like. So all of these, because I was not using standard sizes at all in my strips, none of them are even, and so all of these are large enough to be trimmed down with my square, my 6-inch square. So that's what eventually is going to happen to all of them. These ones need to have a few more added to be able to be squared down, and then these ones are definitely, I need to add at least 2 more strips for every one of these. And I have, yeah, this is where we're at now. And then once they're all square on this, I'm going to be cutting strips in 2 inches, and everything from there is going to be 2 inches, and I'm just going to keep going until the squares are large enough to how I want them, or I run out of fabric. The fabrics that I have, I still need to cut up, but I have a whole bunch of just scraps and fabrics I found at thrift stores. I have some green shirts that I got that were on sale, like button downs, so I need to strip all of those into strips. I need to cut them all into strips, and then we can start sewing. Yay! Here they are. Everything has gotten up to size, large enough to be squared down. And I figured my plan was with this that it would get me to a good starting place, that as long as I added the exact same strips going along, in theory, they should be roughly the same size going forward, because they are massively not the same size here. I think that it could have helped if there was a final sizing, but I also feel like directionally going in opposite directions did mess up some of the squares, so not all of them are the same size, even in the end, but that's a spoiler. I will say this, just watching the clip of squaring these up was very satisfying. So this is where I'm at right now. I have this whole stack where I've added this strip, and now I need to add another in this direction from this pile, and this is what it's going to turn out looking like. I have a feeling that I'm getting close. These are the only colors. I have these left, and then I have to cut up this
for the next round. And what I'm thinking is if I use these for this length, for this one, the strips, geez, when I go around and I come back to adding a strip here, I'm going to use this color and then this color for the next strip on this side, so that they're not the same fabrics, because I don't want to go buy any more fabric. I mean, I could, but I feel like I only have 2 more rotations to do. The last rotation is just going to be green. So that's the plan. That's what I'm thinking of. We'll see if it works out. I have lots of fabric, just not in the colors that I need. There is also, I guess, I have this leftover fabric from one of my other projects, and it's a good amount of yardage, which is why I'm hesitant to cut it up. I mean, I could cut up a little bit and save the rest. But I was also thinking with the total yardage, I could use this as one color in another quilt. So that's why I'm hesitant to use this one. So yeah, I will keep plugging away. So this is where I am now. I have still a lot of green fabric left, and so I want to do 2 more, one more round around this block. And so I did go out and get these 2 fabrics as the final 2 for the next round, because I want it to slowly go darker, and I didn't have any colors that would kind of go with that. I think these fabrics are so fun. I just have never, especially this beet fabric, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, if I were to ever get it, so I just never got it. But I think it'll look great on this. So yeah. One more go around. Well, technically 1.5, because I still need to do greens on this go around. So 1.5 more go arounds. So I was dedicated to the idea of the flower garden aspect, and so that's why I wanted the colors to go darker. I did wind up having to get more green because I underestimated the amount of yardage I would need for once it started to get larger. So I had gotten 1 yard of each of the beet fabric and then the black fabric with the design. That I ran out of that fabric entirely. Like, I had scraps left, but I was actually worried I was not going to have enough fabric, which was a shock to me. So the green that I got, I want to say I got a few yards of that because I wanted it to have like a final background. So the blocks wound up being a lot larger than I guess I had realized. Here I am laying out the design. I had wanted it to be basically like an homage to stalks growing up with the flowers coming out, which is why I laid it out this way. I tried to show my roommate or explain what I was talking about, and he couldn't see the final, like, he couldn't see what I was trying to say. So I hope that you guys do, that the straight up stalks that, with flowers coming out on either side. That was the idea I was going for. As I was sewing, though, and as I was laying it out, I discovered that I had enough blocks and that the blocks were large enough that I could make 2 quilts. Now, as you see, my with that clip, I'm correcting a mistake here, and also the sizes are different. And this is where I start to realize that the sizes did not come out even. But I like to fudge things, and having that final round around each block being the same color allowed me to hide and adjust for the differences in size. So all of the lines still came out pretty straight. In fact, I feel like you can't tell in the final looks that they are not entirely even. Like the final blocks. You can definitely tell the centers are not even. So this is the one that I'm actually going to keep for myself. It's a little bit smaller. I love the way that they've come out. I love that they're imperfect because, again, the idea was flower garden, and I really feel like it's given that. It's given flower garden. I and also I will say this, that choosing the colors, especially having them be scrappy, was a lot of fun with the log cabin. Like I had a lot of fun because each block was different and each block I could kind of decipher and figure out as I went. Like what fabric I wanted to use for that particular block, and choosing the colors and choosing, I guess, the layout, that's the most fun part for me. The sewing part isn't as fun. I do like the hand quilting aspect of it, but choosing the colors and the design is the most fun for me. So I definitely think I want to do more log cabins in the future. I just might do them a little bit more uh better measured, I guess. Better cut. This is the second quilt top that I finished. And I actually think I like this one better. It is slightly larger. I did 4x5 blocks. And as I was making these with the idea of flower gardens in my head, and the beat fabric and just gardening in general was the overall theme and thoughts that were going on in my head as I was making these, it reminded me of one of my aunts who has gotten really into gardening and herbs and all of that. And so this one is going to go to her. So once it's finished, I'm going to send it off, and I think she'll really like it. Especially with the colors, like they're right up her alley. I really do think she's going to like it a lot. So yeah, I am excited. This was a really fun project, and I'm glad that I did it. I have more scrap. I have so much scrap fabrics. I'm sure I'm not alone here that I would like to do more further scrap projects as well, but in terms of doing log cabins, I think that I would like to do another log cabin that I specifically choose fabrics for, and they're all cut on like 2-inch strips or even 1-inch strips. Well, thank you so much for joining me make actually two log cabin tops out of scrap fabrics. I like to make stuff, so if you want to follow along in future projects, you just like to hang out, that's cool. Like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. I will see you in the next one. All right, thanks. Bye.